Hey there guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome if it's your first time. In today's video, I'm looking at the xDuoo MH-02 tube headphone amplifier and DAC. Let's get it. What's cracking, audio fans? David here from Prime Audio Reviews. So the MH-02 here, the price is $149. Now this is a DAC and a headphone amp. The tubes that we're looking at here are 6J1 tubes, and yes, you can roll these. You can swap them out for other tubes to get different sound profiles. And the DAC chip inside is a Cirrus Logic CS43131, which we are all familiar with. It's been in many dongle DACs. So in typical xDuoo fashion, we've got a beautiful gunmetal grey chassis here, really nicely built. And on the front panel, 3 headphone outputs, 3.5mm, a 4.4mm and a 6.35mm. Then we've got our volume knob here, and this little red button switches between low and high gain. Now around on the back, pretty simple. We've got aux in and aux out. So yes, you can use this as a preamp. Then we've got a USB in, USB type C in, so you can plug this into your PC and use it as a DAC and headphone amp. Then we get a little cute little power switch there, and of course our DC 12 volt input. So it's really nicely built. 4 little rubber feet on the bottom to keep it in place. Basically fits in the palm of my hand. It is a pretty small unit. Its power output is not small though. The power output for the headphone outs here is 1300 milliwatts. Well, that's what they're claiming anyway. That's pretty huge. I don't have a way to test that claim, but I can tell you it is plenty powerful. It's got more than enough power for my Beyerdynamic DT990 Pros and my Sennheiser HD650s. So we've got a nice bit of damping on the volume knob there, nice smooth control. There is a little bit of channel imbalance at very low volumes. So if you are experiencing, like if you do for some reason want to be in that area, or if it's too loud when you move the volume knob past that little imbalance area, that imbalance zone, just turn down the volume on your media player or your source and you'll be good to go. So thanks to those dual gain modes, this is good for IEMs or earphones and harder to drive headphones as well, with heaps of power. And we'll plug it in a sec. I'll show you what happens when we plug in the USB-C. There are a couple of things I'll mention now. First of all, there is a built-in relay. There's a mute circuit. So when you switch the device on, you won't actually hear any sound for about maybe 30 seconds. That's because it waits until the tubes have heated up, and that gives you, proper sound once those have heated up. And in addition to that, it avoids any unpleasant pops. And the other thing which I found rather strange, when you've got the USB plugged in, it defeats the auxiliary input. So if you want to use like a third-party DAC, for example, and use this just as an amplifier via the auxiliary in, you need to disconnect the USB. That's a bit of an oversight, I think. Maybe it was a cost-saving measure. I would have much preferred to see a button or a switch somewhere, but that's just the way it is. Rightio, I've got this little guy powered on now. And I'll show you what happens when you plug in the USB-C. When it's connected to a source, it goes like that. Boom! So yeah, you get this lovely blue ring of delight there. When you're using the auxiliary input, like I said, you must disconnect the USB. So when you're using the auxiliary input, that LED does not light up at all. I think I've covered all the functionality. It's a pretty simple device, so let's talk about the sound. So heaps of output power. It's got a nice black background. Even when you're using IEMs, I would describe the sound as fundamentally neutral, but it's got a bit of subtle added dimensionality and richness from those second order harmonics. which is exactly why we want those tubes in the first place. Now, this DAC doesn't create a warm or a cozy or a gooey thick sound, but it rather offers a slightly different presentation without significantly altering the tone. And you know, some people might be disappointed by that if you're looking for a more saturated and a really warm sound, but I think it will please others who are looking for something that's more transparent, but with some of those benefits that tubes bring, like that little bit of a halo, that little bit of a glow, the dimensionality. It takes that harsh digital edge off the music and gives it a more slightly analog presentation. And the MH-02 adds a layer of complexity as well. Like instruments and vocals, they occupy a more defined space within the soundstage. The overall tonality remains balanced with a nice focus on accuracy and clarity, like I mentioned, so you don't get that thick warmth, but it maintains clarity and transparency. And I think so. Having said that, the strength of this unit lies in revealing nuances and intricacies of recordings, so it's both engaging and revealing at the same time. Now, in terms of end-to-end extension, you get really nice airy treble out of this. The bass is good, it's nice and solid. It might be slightly less impactful than a solid state amp in terms of the bass, but you know, if you've got a pair of bassy headphones, you might even appreciate just tightening up or tidying up that low end a little bit. But there's not a whole lot more to say. $149 for this little guy. It's an attractive little unit, it's beautifully built, it's powerful, super powerful, 1300 milliwatts output power. You get the benefits of the tubes, and on top of that, you get a built-in DAC as well. So look, really, if you're seeking an affordable entry point into the world of tube audio, or if you're looking for a nice versatile little DAC amp combo, this one is super easy to recommend. And I'm going to wrap it up there. Thanks for watching the video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, Pa Family Audiophile style. If you're new here, consider hitting that subscribe button before you go. And until next time, I'll see you later.